to talk about befriending ourselves to counter loneliness. So the reason I bring this up, I just saw a story showing that many of the people who join these white supremacy groups, they have issues with loneliness, which I thought was quite interesting. I mean, it doesn't forgive, but I thought it was interesting. And then I started to think about loneliness in our society in general. And I found a report saying pre-COVID, so in January of 2020, there was a report that 3 out of 5 Americans were lonely, based on a scale that's called the UCLA loneliness scale. So 3 out of 5, and each year before that, that number had been increasing. And so you can imagine after COVID that those numbers also must be going up quite significantly. And then the other thing that I was thinking about was that we can be quite lonely even when we're surrounded by people. And so, I mean, in my own case, my husband, he's an academic, and so 18 out of the 20 years that I've known him, he's been an academic. And as an academic, you never are finished with your work. There's always a ton to do. So I had to contend quite early on with our relationship that, that he was quite occupied a lot of the time. And at first that was really challenging for me. But through yoga and other things, I've really found that I'm absolutely fine with it now, right? So yoga, it allows us to find everything that we need within ourselves, right? It doesn't mean that we don't enjoy other people or other people's company. It means that we don't rely on it for our sanity or our happiness. So part of yoga is learning to like ourselves, right? Learning what matters to us, what excites and nourishes us, right? And finding those and strengthening those, growing those. It's learning to understand ourselves and support ourselves. We can find acceptance of our emotions and all part of ourselves. So instead of stuffing down the parts that we don't like of ourselves, really listening and spending time and sitting with those difficult sides of ourselves. And one of the things that I've found, which is a little bit weird, but you've probably worked out by now that I'm a little unusual, but it really worked. It's about speaking to yourself like you would like other people to speak to you. So we tend to have this little voice in our head that's quite negative and gives ourselves a hard time. If we can flip that around and start saying nice things to ourselves, right, it can be really helpful. It is really weird, but you can look into the mirror and say things like, I love you, right? And it seems really odd, but when we change this dialogue and when we practice things like that, it really changes the way that we look at ourselves and that we accept ourselves or deal with ourselves, right? So we bring peace to ourselves through ourselves. So there's a quote, it's an unknown source, it says, learn to be alone and like it. There is nothing more freeing and empowering than learning to like your own company. And I really totally agree. It's wonderful, it's something really special to have that ability. And then you're not really lonely, right? Whether you're with people or without people, you're not lonely because you're always with yourself and you're always there, you know, finding that joy and that companionship with yourself. So it's a little unusual. You have to kind of change the way that you look at things a little bit. But for me, it's really made a big difference, and I think it will make a big difference to a lot of people in the world. Anyway, we're going to start by lying down on the mat. So you can find a way. We're bringing our feet into Baddha Konasana. So the feet are coming together. The knees hand to your heart. So you can bring one hand on top of your heart and the other one just covering it. And then you can close your eyes. And just getting started here in the journey of class today. As always, we're bringing our attention into the present moment. So we're letting go of whatever happened before class, whatever might happen after class. And we're just focusing on what's going on right now. So maybe you feel the ground beneath you. Really feeling those hands on your heart, that warmth there, that you're covering your heart and you're connecting with it. Maybe noticing any sounds. And then seeing if you can set an intention for the class about how you want to approach this class with yourself. So maybe it's about being kind to yourself or listening to yourself today. Noticing what you like, all the harder things, the more challenging things, or supporting yourself in those challenging moments. So again, you're just listening or deciding what of those things would be the most useful for you today. And then bringing your attention to your breath. You're inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Long, slow inhales and exhales, and you might feel your hands rising and falling with your breath. Really slowing that breath down, really appreciating how amazing the breath is and how amazing the body is, your body. And paying attention to the details of your body, getting to know yourself. Taking a few more breaths here. And then you can release your hands to the side. So you're going to reach the arms out to the sides. You can open your eyes. And then we're just going to bring the feet hips width distance apart, knees facing up to the sky. And as we inhale, we're going to lift the hips and we're going to bring the hands around, giving ourselves a nice hug with the hands, with the arms. And exhale, we're just opening the arms, releasing, and then the hips come down. And then as we inhale, the hands, the arms come crossing over you the different directions, so a different arm on top. And exhaling, bringing yourself down. So working with your breath here. Two more like that. And then when you're back down, just moving your feet apart a little bit more and dropping the knees over to the left side. A little spinal twist here. Inhale, knees come up, and we're just dropping them gently to the other in the other direction. Inhale, coming up, giving yourself a really nice, unconditional hug here. And then we're going to lengthen it out and come onto the belly. So you're lying down on your belly. Your palms are going to come face down. So you're giving the world a hug. Right? Connecting to the earth, grounding, feeling that connection. Yourself with the earth. Taking a couple of breaths here. You're going to tent the fingers of the right hand, so the elbow bends, and you're just going to open up to the side. That right foot, you're just going to touch the toes on the ground. So your head might come down to the ground, or you might make a fist with your right hand and place it underneath your head, and you're opening through that left shoulder. Taking a couple of breaths here. Lengthening through that right leg, hovering it off from the other leg, so it's just lifted a little bit. And then inhale, you're going to lift that leg up towards the sky. Bringing that leg down, coming back into that hug of the earth. Giving it a hug, right? We have challenges. We need hugs from ourselves and others. And then the earth is suffering as well. So giving it a big hug. And then you can tent the fingers of the left hand. And you're just turning onto your side. That left knee bends. And you can just tap the toes onto the ground. You can make a fist with the left hand and pop it underneath your ear or your head. Taking a few breaths here. Opening through that right shoulder, making sure if you have shoulder issues that you back off a bit if it's too much. And then lengthening through that leg, that left leg, hovering it here. And then maybe lifting it up to the sky. Slowly bringing it down, coming back into that hug of the earth. We can tent the fingers either side of us. Inhale, just lifting up here. And maybe moving a little from side to side. We're going to come down a little, press the hands next to the chest, and press back a child's pose. You can have your knees open in any amount, just finding length through your back. Tenting the fingers of the right hand. Left arm comes out to the side, and then you're going to thread it through. So you're coming into a little bit of a twist here. And then you're going to lengthen back out to the front, coming onto the tops of the fingertips of the left hand, reaching the arm out to the right, And then you're going to tuck, and you're just coming into a mini little twist here. Reaching those fingertips forward again, and slowly finding your way up. You're going to lengthen through the left leg. Right leg is the right knee is going to stay bent and the foot are down on the ground, activating the toes on the lengthened foot. So we're going to take the arm around the front of that right leg, and then we're going to see if we can grab onto the left hand or the wrist. That may or may not work. You can always grab onto any other part of your body, right? All parts of our body are things that we are learning to like. So wherever it is that you're touching your body, just making sure you have a connection there, and a nice connection, without giving yourself a hard time, without judgment. And you're twisting over to the left side. You're looking over your left shoulder and breathing. Calming back through center, reaching the arms up. And then you're going to lean forward and reach forward over that leg, over that foot. Now you might grab onto that foot and find length through your back. It may be that you find length somewhere else by holding on somewhere else on your leg. It doesn't matter where you hold onto, you're trying to find length through your back. So it's not that we have to get to the foot, and it's not necessarily the best for our body to do that. So anywhere you find length. And then again, you can grab on anywhere to this right side of this left leg. So it can be the foot, it can be the shin or the thigh. And you're opening the right arm up, finding another twist. And then we're going to bring that right hand in, crossing the arm, so it can again be anywhere on the body, and just finding length through your back, and using the cross of your hands just to pull yourself forward. But it doesn't matter where on the body, where on that leg or foot that you're holding. And then we're going to take that left arm, and so again your right hand can be anywhere on that leg, and we're just going to bring the left arm back, twisting the other way. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up. And then this time we're going to try and grab onto that leg, but you can bend, or to the foot, but you can bend your knee as much as you want. And actually we'll bring the foot, the right foot, in towards the thigh. And then you can bend your knee any amount and bring your chest down towards your thigh. So we're in like a seated forward fold for a tree pose. And then reaching forward and all the way up, exhaling, hands come to heart center. And we're going to switch the legs. So we're going to take the left arm this time, wrap it around around that knee, and bring the hand around the back, maybe grabbing onto the right arm or just anywhere on the body, activating the lengthened toes, and you're twisting, looking over that right shoulder, finding a really nice twist here. Inhale, through center. And then we're going to reach forward over that leg. So one of the things that happens in our lives these days is when we're alone, we're just on our devices. So learning to just be off the devices and like ourselves anyway, finding that. And then bringing the hand wherever it is on the leg and just lengthening through the back, finding nice length. And then we're going to grab onto the outside edge of that foot and open up here. Twisting again, or on the leg, it doesn't matter where we are. You might find you get a better twist if your hand is higher up the leg. And then we're coming back to center, crossing the hands over each other, wherever it gets to on the leg or the foot, finding length through the back. And then we're going to open up through the left side, finding a twist here. Coming back to center, let's lift the arms up. And this time bringing the knee open into a tree pose, seated tree. And then exhale, reaching forward as far as you can, bending the knee if you need to, bringing chest down towards that thigh. So we all sometimes think we have to keep that leg straight, and that's the proper way to do it, but to protect a lot of our lower backs, bending the knee is actually the better option, and we're still getting the stretch that we need. Inhale, reaching forward and up, and then exhale, hands are going to come towards the heart center. Lengthening the foot in front of you. You're going to bring your hands down, fingers going towards your feet, and we're going to come into a reverse tabletop. So we're going to lift up through the hips here. Inhaling, we're going to lift that left leg up to the sky. Taking a breath. And then bringing that foot down. We're going to lift the other leg up towards the sky. Bringing that foot down. Just lifting up the hips one more time. And slowly finding your way down. Coming into a boat pose here. Lifting up through one leg or the other, or both legs, trying to keep your back super straight. And again, we can come into a twist, opening here. So left hand somewhere on that left leg. Sorry, left hand somewhere on that right leg, getting all twisted up here. Inhale, coming through center. And then switching side, right hand on the left leg, twisting. Inhale, coming back to center, maybe lengthening, maybe playing with straightening, but maybe not, just listening, maybe scissoring, maybe the other way, bringing knees in, lengthening through the back, giving yourself a big seated hug here. Lovely. We're going to bring the feet a little bit distance apart. We're going to drop the knees to the right side, taking the left hand to the front, to the left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. We're just coming into another twist. The left ear can come to the left shoulder. Inhale, bring the head up. And try and bring it over to the right shoulder. Inhale, head comes up, moving the feet over to the other direction. This time, we're bringing the left hand behind you, right hand to right knee, twisting here. Bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhaling it up and bring the ear over to the left shoulder. Calming back through center. And we're going to come all the way round onto hands and knees. And we can spread the fingers here. We can tuck the toes. We're going to come into a plank pose here for a moment. Taking a breath. And we're just going to bring that right foot out to the side. So maybe a bit challenging, maybe it works for you, or maybe you need to find an alternative if it doesn't work for you. Inhale, coming through center. And exhale, it's the other leg coming out. Hand comes back down, foot comes back down. Bending the knees any amount, finding your downward facing dog. So you can play with moving one knee and the other, wagging that tail. And then taking 3 deep breaths in downward facing dog. And when you're ready, you're going to take the right leg up behind you. And you're going to exhale, knee comes into nose, rounding through the back. And you're going to step that right foot forward between the hands. Now this is where you might need some blocks or equivalent. So we're going to then take the blocks either side of the front foot. And then maybe stepping that back foot forward, we're going to come into a pyramid pose. So there's lots of variations here. You can also bring your hands to the hips. And inhale, you're going to come all the way up. Inhale, reaching the arms up here. Exhale, we're going to reach forward again. Just leaning and seeing where we get to. So that right hip is coming back, left hip coming forward, so the inner thighs are coming towards each other. Maybe we'll come onto tiptoes here. It's a little challenging. And then heels come down, arms come up. Interlacing the fingers behind your back, pressing down and back, opening through the chest. Exhale, leaning forward again, lifting up through the arms, if it works for you. So again, being okay if one pose is not good for you, finding something that is, that's part of befriending yourself. You're finding the things that are good for you, good for your body. Inhale, calming up one more time. Excellent, releasing through the hands. Again, the arms are going to come up. We're going to reach forward and we're going to bring the hands down onto the blocks or whatever we might have, and you can have at any level. Inhale, finding a flat back here. And exhale, you're going to bring your chest down towards that front leg if it works, just in that direction. Breathe in here. Now you're going to take the blocks or whatever you have, or your hands, and you're just going to move them over to the right side. So it's almost like a little twist. Right hand back, left hand forward. coming back to center. So now you're going to take your left hand and keep it down on the block or the ground, right hand on your lower back, twisting here with your shoulders, maybe the right fingertips come up to the sky. Right hand comes down. The back toes turn out perpendicular and you're coming into a triangle pose here. So you can lift up any amount coming into your triangle. And then the hand comes back down. Both hands come back down. Back toes coming forward again. Now we're going to get a little bit crazy. The hands are going to come back a bit behind that front leg. And you can play with just bending that back knee. The toes can stay on the ground. Or you can play with lifting up through that left foot. It's quite challenging. And return that foot. Great. Then we can come back, bending through that front knee, hands either side of that foot. Right leg comes back to meet the left. Plank pose here for a moment. And then pressing back, downward facing dog here. Taking a few deep breaths. Left leg comes up behind you. And then exhale, bringing knee in towards the chest, rounding through the back or in through the nose, and stepping that foot forward here. And then we're going to lengthen through that front foot, that front leg. So the back foot comes in, front leg lengthens here. And you can have any height of the blocks or whatever you have as an alternative. Your left hip is going back, right hip coming forward, so the inner thighs are coming towards each other. Inhale, finding length, and exhale, folding over that lengthened leg. Inhale, you're going to come all the way up, reaching forward and bringing yourself up. And then inhaling here, you're just leaning forward any amount. Maybe playing, lifting the heels off the ground. Heels come down. Inhale, arms come back up. Interlacing the fingers behind you, different thumb on top. Pressing the hands down and back, opening through the chest. And exhale, folding forward, lifting up through the arms. Inhale, coming back up, pressing the hands down and back, and releasing the arms here. One more time, reaching arms up, reaching forward, and bring the hands down, finding a flat back here. Inhale, looking up, and exhale, maybe bringing that chest towards that front leg again. We're going to come back up, taking right hand down to the ground, your blocks, left hand to your lower back. And then we're going to twist it open towards the left side, stacking those shoulders. Don't forget to breathe. Your breath is your friend. Left hand calming down. You're going to turn the right toes out to the side. Left hand coming anywhere up this leg. Right arm coming up to the sky, finding your triangle pose. come down to the block. You're moving the blocks. Oh, we've got two things to do here. First of all, we're moving over to the left side. So you're finding a little bit of a twist here in this way. Left hand back, right hand forward, noticing how that changes the pose. Excellent. Coming back to center. You're bringing the blocks or whatever you have behind this front leg. You're going to bring the back heel up. And you might play with just bending through that right knee. And maybe that's where you stay. Or maybe you play with lifting up the right foot. Placing that back down. Bending through that front knee again. Hands come down to the ground. The left foot comes back to meet the right. We're going to do knees, chest and chin here. Elbows squeezing into the chest. And inhale, opening up through into low cobra. Elbows squeeze into the body. And then exhale. You're going to bring your feet back down, downward facing dog. Deep breaths. So you can play here. You can either walk your feet forward to the front of the mat, or you can look forward and play with just kicking your feet up to your butt. Maybe get some hang time. And then we're all going to meet at the front of the mat. So you can just hop forward, fold down, forward fold. So you can grab behind the shins if that feels good. You can shake your head no. You can nod your head yes. And then just let your head be heavy. Allow your neck not to have to do any work for once. And then inhale, arms out to the side, flat back. And inhale, reaching the arms all the way up, a little back bend here. Exhaling, hands coming to heart center. Closing the eyes. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling anything that doesn't serve you out the mouth. Ha. Inhale nose. Exhaling mouth. Ha. Last time. Ha. Wonderful. You're going to open your eyes here, lifting through that left leg, bringing the ankle onto just above the right knee. So the right foot is your standing foot. You're going to find grounding there, finding stability there, and hands are at the heart center. So we're going to come into a one-legged chair pose here to begin with. So you can sit back in that pose. You might find that you could also lean forward and play with that. If you really want to move into more of a balance, you can bring your hands down and try and lean onto the elbows here and maybe lift up through that back leg and maybe even straighten it. So you don't have to go there. Any of the options are all great. Lovely. Inhaling slowly, making your way up. Left leg is lifted. And you're going to kick it back behind you. Warrior one here. Pausing for a moment. And then you're going to open up warrior two. So your chest, your torso faces the side now. Arms can reach out to the side. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, coming through center. And exhale, we're going to come over to the other direction. Inhaling here, coming back to our original direction. And this time we're leaning forward. Arm comes down, right arm on the right thigh. Left arm reaches over, length from back edge of foot all the way up to fingertips. Inhale, calming back through warrior two. And switching directions. Inhale, reach. Left arm coming down on the thigh. Right arm coming up alongside the ear. Length from back edge of the foot all the way to the fingertips. Inhale, back to the first direction. This time reaching here. Right fingers come down to the ground. Left fingers coming up to the sky. And you can come up with any variation. If you've got a bind, go for it. Inhaling through center, going the other way. Another inhale, lean. Exhale, finding the ground or finding your bind, whatever feels good. You've got it. Taking a breath. Inhale, up through center. This time, hands come to the hips. You're going to turn towards your left side. So we're going the opposite direction we were before. And we're going to then step that right foot up and cross it over the left leg. So figure of four here. Calming into a half chair or a one-legged chair. Sitting down, finding length through your back. This is a great place to be. You can stop here. Or you can fold forward, finding length through your back. You can also play, and I'll show you from the front, you can play with tucking the toes around that left arm. And then that helps you. If you lean forward, you're making a shelf with your wrist or with on your arm with that right leg. And you can play with lifting that leg up or playing with lengthening it. So it's just for fun, doesn't matter. All good. It's always good to challenge yourself, but it's also good to know your limits. Inhale, coming up. This is part of befriending yourself. Excellent. Right leg comes up, coming down. Palms either side of you, facing away from you. And then closing your eyes here. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, mouth. Ha. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Ha. Inhale, nose. Exhaling, mouth. Ha. So just pausing here. Just noticing how you're feeling at the moment. And you can open your eyes. We're just going to step out to the sides. And we're going to come into Skadasana. So the right toes might come out a bit. And you're going to lengthen through the left leg as you bend through the right. Now this looks different for everybody. You might be higher up. And that works too. You're finding what works for your body. So one leg is bent, one leg is straight. Hands at heart center. And then you're coming through center, working the other direction. Skadasana. Deep breaths. All right, coming back to the original side. This time, if you can do it, balancing, The right hand comes on the inside of that right knee. So it's that right arm pressing into the right knee. Left arm opens, finding a little twist. And then we come back into center, coming the other direction. Left arm tucks in front of the left knee. Right arm opens up to the side. Great. And then we come back through center. We find a way. Maybe the feet come in towards each other. Maybe we come into center, finding a squat in the middle. Pressing hands together, pressing arms into legs, finding length through the back. And then we're going to gently find our way down onto the back. So you can bring the feet at the front of the mat, bring your butt down to the ground, just being careful of knees, so you don't want to hurt anything. You might have to come down a different way if you've got any issues with your knees. And then you're gently just rolling down, one vertebrae at a time. And before we continue, just placing your hands on your heart again. You can close your eyes and just paying attention, maybe going back to your intention for today, for the class, for how you're going to treat yourself during the course of the class. And it doesn't matter if you succeeded or whether you failed. It's not about success or failure. It's just about recognizing and noticing and connecting more closely with yourself. And then the hands and the arms can come down to the ground. We're going to, again, bring the feet in a bit. We're going to come into another figure of four. So that right ankle coming over the left, just above the left knee. We're activating the toes on the right foot. So we're bringing the toes in towards the knee. And then we're going to reach either side of that left thigh. And we'll inhale here and we'll pull the thigh or the leg in towards the body, so everything's coming in towards your torso. Trying to relax through the jaw and through the shoulders in this pose. And if you want to play with lengthening through that left leg, go for it. If you want to play with grabbing somewhere on that leg or the foot, you can go for it. Listening to what works for you. 2 or 3 deep breaths here. And then we're going to switch sides. So the right foot is down, the left knee is bent, and the ankle's coming just above the right knee, activating through those left toes. Reaching either side of the right thigh, interlacing fingers if that works, and then pulling everything in towards the torso. Making sure there's no knee pain. If there is, you need to back off a little bit. Listening to your body, being kind to yourself is all a part of it. And if you want to play with any of the variations, you can lift up through that right leg. You can grab anywhere that you like on that right leg. Anything that feels good here. Again, recognizing what nourishes your body. And then release. We're going to come into happy baby. Just bringing your hands to the outside edges of your feet, if that works. Knees are coming down either side of your body. Otherwise, you can hold on anywhere else on the legs. Trying to bring your lower back down towards the ground. And you can find a little bit of movement here from side to side. And then if you like, you can lengthen through that left leg, letting it hover off the ground. Right knee coming in, giving yourself a nice big hug with that right knee. Left leg is hovering a little bit, giving your core a little bit of work. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then releasing that left leg down to the ground. Right knee is going to cross over your body. Right shoulder trying to stay on the ground. Right arm coming out. And if it feels okay on your neck, looking over your right fingertips. If you need a little bit more support for your neck, just looking up at the ceiling. You can close your eyes here if you like, taking 3 deep breaths. Calming back through center, switching sides, left knee comes in, right leg hovers. And then right leg comes down to the ground. Left knee comes across the body. Left arm, shoulder down on the ground, maybe looking over the left fingertips. Calming back to center, giving yourself an unconditional hug here. Knowing that you're worth it, that you deserve it, and that you're special. And then you're going to stretch your legs out, maybe max distance apart, letting the toes just flop open. Shoulders coming down on the ground, palms face up about 30 degrees or more from your body. And just closing your eyes here. You can let go of any control in this pose, so you no longer have to control your breath. You're just allowing yourself to be. You're spending quality time with yourself, regardless of what's coming in through your mind. Getting to be with yourself, it's so important. Finding a little bit of movement in your fingers and in your toes. And then bringing your hands back over your heart, being there to protect it here. And to be there for it. And to give it the support that it needs. And then reaching the arms up overhead, finding length from toes to fingertips. Bending through the knees and giving yourself a final hug of the class here. And then rolling onto the right side, maybe bringing your right arm underneath your head as a little pillow. Feeling the ground there to support you. And pressing yourself up into a seated pose. So however feels comfortable for you, you can have a block, you can kneel, you can cross your legs, half lotus or full lotus, whatever feels good. Thumbs and index fingers touching, sitting up tall. And just checking in with yourself and seeing how you are feeling physically, emotionally, and mentally. We're always asking other people how they are, but we forget to check in on ourselves. And then we're going to come into a breathing exercise to end. We're going to do alternate nostril breathing. So you can use your right hand or your right thumb to block off your right nostril, your right ring finger to block off the left nostril. We're going to inhale for the count of 4 through the left, hold for 4, exhale right for 4, inhale through the same nostril, the right one again for 4, hold for 4, exhale left. I'll talk you through it. If you find that you need to do another breathing exercise, this one doesn't work for you or you get lost, just create your own. So before we even start, you can just rest your hands on your legs. I'll let you know when to bring your hand up to your face. So taking a deep inhale through both nostrils. Exhale through both nostrils. Exhale, inhale through both nostrils. Exhaling through both nostrils. Bringing right hand up to the face, blocking off the right nostril. Inhaling 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Releasing the hand to the thigh and just sitting for a moment with yourself and the feelings after that breath. Slow inhales and exhales through the nose. You don't need to have the holds anymore. Bringing the hands to the heart center, pressing thumbs into sternum for a moment. Inhale, bringing arms out to the sides and all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching arms out to both sides and all the way up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhale, reaching out to both sides, gathering all those things that nourish you and that you like about yourself. And exhale, appreciating them and bringing them to heart center. Finding gratitude for yourself for taking time for your mind and for your body today. And then bringing hands to the third eye center between the eyebrows. It's always a pleasure to guide you through your practice. Thank you for your energy today. Namaste.